Alex Wooden on 100% Canadian Maple Stir-Up.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Rant. I'm Alex Wooden. In nature, there are inherently more alphas versus betas or omegas. Primates, wolves, and other groups exhibit this behavior of social structuring. It's much easier to follow the leader, stay safe in the face of immorality and irresponsibility, whether in willful obligement or blissful ignorance, and really hoping that their leader, the perceived hero, will bring the change they so desperately long for, to flow with the current of the dominant narrative rather than uphill against it, ignoring the more difficult yet rewarding and unseen alternative. Stake out your own path based on an analysis of logic trends, historically based conclusions that can be drawn from past events and records. Start your own pack, or tribe, or party perhaps, in modern terms. But, as if water for a parched throat in the desert, the heat of the sun that is climbing costs versus collapsing average wages, and the dehydration that is constant injustice, to put it lightly, class inequality. Along with the insult of voting for a political stooge who promises change and what the people demand, peace, prosperity, and longevity, only to disappoint and recant, weakens the resolve of average people. After doing your civic duty to be told, well, it's our fault, we shouldn't have voted him in the face of a very real, multifaceted, and intricate voter fraud scandal and political misstructuring. Do I speak of the ever-tired Russiagate? Well, obviously not. I'm talking about the control of the voting process from the oligarchical regime of modern feudalism. The fact that both sides are controlled. In the USA, superdelegates, the fact that the person who won the popular vote was not the one who took office, due to the Electoral College, as I understand, and the downright cheating of Bernie Sanders, via the Democratic Party, super PACs, etc., and the media, funded by war profiteers, as well as resource and production barons. The media in general, as the Trump et of war has so clearly exemplified through personal, internal, and external means, also plays a part in the deception. It is to be assured, by logical thought, this is a valid conclusion to draw. But this populism, follow the leader, better of two evils, pawn off the responsibility on the working class with no money and no power mindset that they have drilled into the impressionable, putty-like minds of the destitute and hopelessly loyal. With Trump, a strong alpha male leader, as perceived by those afflicted by the delusion. This wandering through a desert of low-paying jobs or overqualified, underemployed university degree holders in disciplines that would fix the nation if endorsed and encouraged by the government, instead of devalued, has led to a state of symptoms also known for long desert expeditions, massive hallucinations. Despair is the engine of totalitarianism. When you take away people's hope for a brighter future and sense of righteousness, you push them towards a land of fantasy and magical thinking. And if you try to tell them that they have been tricked, that they don't have the protection and support from their perceived pack leaders, the people that they identify with on perhaps a personal, self-mirroring level, they get upset, as if you're trying to pull them into a reality that they don't want to exist in. The real world, where corporate greed and treacherous corruption have nearly cannibalized this nation, as well as the United States, our greatest and probably most loved allies. It's much easier to accept someone different than you, a foreigner, has come to take your job or screw you out of government funding for programs such as loan assistance or financial aid of greater proportions, or health care, than to accept that one of your own nation's citizens, a countryman, has betrayed you and every other citizen of your nation on a scale that demands retribution, betrayed the principles your nation was founded on and is supposed to represent in the international community. The only chance we have to incorporate the people drawn to this deception back into the economic system is to give the disenfranchised hope. And, largely, we have missed the chance. The chance is in a restructuring of the energy supply and of the bodies that have betrayed us for decades for clear-cut profit, if not for their manipulation of laws and repeals of protections placed on governance. They would have been charged with the highest of crimes long ago, the crime of betrayal of your nation, the crime of treason. Even if, by some miracle of logic and science, climate change were a hoax. Ugh. Hold on. Please allow me a moment to gargle. Oh, that was disgusting. Ugh. Ahem. Sorry, folks. I can stand the taste of elitist swine phallus, bald-headed yogurt slinger, aka manhood, that immediately sprang onto my tongue and unfortunate taste buds after uttering that set of words in that particular ridiculous order. Even if that were a hoax, for the reason for a solar and mixed 100% green energy grid resulting in a supporting jobs program is clear, especially with the threat of a weakened petrodollar through Iran's dependence of a market is causing rattling of the spears and a call for war. Trump and Trudeau offer the same economic outlook for North Americans, a gullible yet hopelessly hopeful and blind population. A fossil fuel economy that relies heavily on subsidy and the dominant monopoly of the petrodollar that is facilitated, pup and tail, by the wars in the Middle East. The false flag aggression, I believe, and provided evidence for in my last video, that was CIA orchestrated, possibly by fringe elements, but more likely higher-ups, and the compliance with clear dictatorships that endorse genocide and other human rights abuses, like the Saudis and the Chinese, to maintain that economically oppressive stranglehold on our world and respective nations, that give further evidence of a lack of courage in governance and a willingness to trade blood dollars of wage slavery and dealing with terrorist nations like the UAE, who behead anyone they damn well please, like the barbarians and the slanderers of God's name that they truly are. A Green New Deal would permanently end the need to protect oil interests for energy sustainability and growth beyond the next 50 years. It would cut the chain of fossil fuels, in fact, and increase our growth. Production of cheap goods benefiting China and conglomerates of multi-trillion-dollar companies, and the clear, constant refusal to act for the benefit of the people. The middle and lower working classes, not the elite classes, should wake up the subservient blue-pilled masses that support Trump for oil economies, or worse, refuse to see the light, the truth that the rich and politically aligned only care about two classes, their donors and themselves. The sooner that we help them to realize that America was not founded on following the leader or elections, it was founded on a bold rebellion, a departure from the brutal status quo that had oppressed them and shaped the lives that they left behind in the old world of Europe. The embracing that anyone with hard work could join the upper class, not the middle, let alone struggle hand to mouth at the edge of the bottom, in levels of economic inequality not seen since Egypt and the days of kings and emperors enslaving the peasants. I ask you this, in the past 20 years and beyond, what have the leaders done to offer change, leadership, or direction? What bold endeavors have been achieved or even pursued? What have they ever done for us? Well, not nothing. They have told us that better is not possible, and that mediocrity on someone else's idea is better than innovation. That over a century of oil and failed planning and trickle-down economic practice is better than a restructuring of labor, government, and limitations on greed, not ownership. And the role of government bodies is to be solely to enrich the people and ensure growth, sustainability, but more importantly, protection of the land and its population, not deregulation and extraction of the Earth's blood and erosion of the solar protection barriers? While they build a nuclear-powered Noah's Ark submarine to escape once the crap hits the fan? Ask yourself, what makes more sense? The rich lying to you, thinking that you're worthless like livestock? Or do you truly think that someone with literally billions of dollars, someone that has never done a truly selfless deed in their lives or risked themselves for someone else's benefit, someone who deals with the type of scum America tried to crush in World War II, the goddamn Nazi murderous regime? What would a World War II vet as a young man say about it if transported to modern day times? That we support commie Red China that kills for organs, that Trump plays errand boy to the Saudis and Israelis' religious apartheid genocidal state government. They would likely ask, who won the Great War? Did we lose? What has the world become? Well, in light of learning of Project Paperclip, the recruitment into government employment and a pardon of Nazis, over 3,000 of them from 1945 to 1959, I often wonder that myself. In fact, before Kennedy was killed, you can see a picture of him sitting next to one of these fine folks. Did the pack leaders make a deal with the devil? Sadly, the results, I think, speak for themselves. I pray the strongest moral of these deluded and deceived by Trump, or any other populist puppet for that matter, such as Trudeau, are able to join their allies soon. Because, like George Carlin, the only true conservative I have ever seen, greatly stated, hey, it's a big club, and you ain't in it. Thanks for listening. I'm Alex Wooden, and this has been the Daily Rant, where we bring you a rant daily.